Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. Is Steffy expecting Liam's deathbed child? For weeks, Liam Spencer's death has been imminent. The ex-partner of Steffy Forrester has come to terms with his fate and declined to undergo chemotherapy for his tumor. Before Liam Spencer leaves the world of the living, will he be involved in one more baby daddy plot? Warning, there are spoilers for Bold and Beautiful below. Continue reading to find out. Liam and Steffy say goodbye. Liam's loved ones will start getting ready for heartfelt farewells as his time is coming to an end. Steffy Forrester moved on from Liam a number of years ago and is now married to Dr. Finn. Although it's no secret that her ex-husband still has feelings for her and wants her back, Steffy has been faithful to him thus far. When Steffy Forrester considers the possibility that she might not see Liam Spencer again, will her loyalty shift? According to spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, Steffy and Liam's farewell will not be rated PG, and one thing will lead to another. While taking a journey down memory lane with Liam Spencer, Steffy seems to be swept up in the moment and forget she's married. Steffy might become pregnant with Liam's child if the B&B rumors are accurate and she has one more sexual encounter with him on his deathbed. Dr. Finn will have a hard time understanding that. Furthermore, since it's a daytime soap opera, there's always the possibility that Liam recovers miraculously. Steffy Forrester needs to explain things to Finn. How will she explain that she had an affair with Liam because he was dying, but that he isn't even dead yet? Do you believe that Liam and Steffy will eventually fall in love? Will the CBS soap opera feature another steam baby? In a whirlwind of emotions, Steffy Forrester found herself spiraling into a storm of the past, torn between loyalty and longing, as Liam Spencer's terminal diagnosis cast a shadow over everything she thought was stable in her life. The news had rocked Los Angeles like a silent earthquake, reverberating through every heart that had ever known Liam. Friends, family, lovers, past and present, had all begun the grim process of grieving a man not yet dead. But none were affected more than Steffy, the woman who had once believed she and Liam were destined to ride off into the sunset together. Even though she had since moved on, married to the stable and compassionate Dr. John Finn Finnegan, the truth was undeniable. Liam had always held a piece of her heart, a piece she had never fully reclaimed. Now, standing on the edge of Liam's mortality, that buried love surged up like a tide that refused to be ignored. As the days dwindled down and Liam grew weaker, refusing chemotherapy for his aggressive brain tumor, Steffy found herself drawn to his bedside more often than she intended. Each visit became less about saying goodbye and more about reliving the love they had shared, the family they had built, the dreams they had left unrealized. With every glance, every whispered memory, and every tearful smile, the lines between past and present began to blur. Liam, despite his frail state, managed to find clarity in his final days, using his remaining energy to express his undying love for Steffy. He didn't beg her to leave Finn. He didn't ask for a dramatic reunion. But the simplicity of his confession, that loving her was the one thing in his life he had never regretted, hit her like a blow to the chest. Her loyalty to Finn had always been steadfast. After all, he had saved her in more ways than one, offering her a love built on trust, safety, and genuine affection. But Finn didn't share her history with Liam, the fire and passion, the heartbreak and healing. That bond, complicated and messy as it was, had depth, a kind of soul-anchoring connection forged through years of chaos, reconciliation, and devotion. And now, faced with the thought of Liam vanishing forever, Steffy felt the dam she had so carefully built begin to crack. One rainy night, after hours by Liam's bedside reminiscing about their daughter Kelly, about Aspen and Monte Carlo, about all the missed chances and might-have-beens, Steffy broke. She didn't plan it, didn't anticipate that a simple hug would turn into a kiss, or that a kiss would awaken something dormant inside her. But grief makes people do unexpected things, and love, especially the kind that never truly dies, can override logic in a heartbeat. That night, they made love for what was supposed to be the last time. It wasn't about betrayal or lust. It was a desperate, beautiful, tragic attempt to feel alive in the shadow of death, to find comfort in the arms of someone who had once been everything. And when the morning came, Steffy was flooded with guilt. Not because she didn't love Finn, she did, but because she had allowed herself to fall back into a version of herself she thought was long gone. She told no one. Not even her closest confidants. Not Ridge. Not Hope. Certainly not Finn. It was a moment she wanted to bury, convinced it would be erased by Liam's imminent passing. But fate had other plans. Weeks passed. Liam, against all odds, began showing signs of improvement. A second opinion from an oncologist in New York revealed that his tumor, while still aggressive, might be operable. The chemo he had initially refused suddenly seemed like a viable option, and with the combined efforts of Finn and a team of specialists, Liam's condition stabilized. What was supposed to be his swan song became the prologue to a second chance at life. And while everyone celebrated the miracle, Steffy's stomach churned, not from joy, but from nausea that wouldn't go away. At first, she chalked it up to stress, exhaustion, or maybe even a flu bug Kelly brought home from school. But when days turned into a week, and that week turned into two, a quiet dread settled over her. A pregnancy test confirmed what she already suspected but had hoped wasn't true. She was pregnant, with Liam's baby. The reality hit like a freight train, shattering any illusion that what had happened between her and Liam had been a one-time, consequence-free farewell. Now, with Liam alive and Finn completely in the dark, Steffy found herself in the most precarious position of her life. How could she explain that she had betrayed her vows during a moment of weakness? That she had sought comfort in the arms of a man she thought was dying, and now carried his child? The guilt consumed her. Every time she looked at Finn, his trusting eyes, his unwavering support, she felt like a fraud. And worse, Liam didn't know either. He had no idea that their final night had created a new life, that he wasn't just getting a second chance at life, but at fatherhood. To complicate things even further, Hope Logan, Liam's other great love, was drawn back into the orbit of Liam's recovery. Old flames reignited, and whispers began circulating that perhaps Hope and Liam were finally meant to be. But how could that be, when Liam's baby was growing inside Steffy's womb? As her belly began to swell, the truth became impossible to hide. But timing, as always in the world of the Forresters and Spencers, was never on anyone's side. Before Steffy could tell Finn, he stumbled upon a sonogram in her purse. At first, he assumed it was their child. But the conception date didn't line up. Confusion gave way to suspicion, and suspicion turned into confrontation. Steffy, with tears streaming down her face, admitted everything. The deathbed goodbye, the lovemaking, the pregnancy. Finn was devastated, not just by the betrayal, but by the emotional depth of her actions. She hadn't cheated out of boredom or resentment, she had done it out of love, and that hurt even more. The fallout was explosive. Finn moved out, needing space to process the betrayal. Liam, blindsided by the news, was forced to reevaluate everything, his budding reconnection with Hope, his place in Steffy's life, and the future of the child they had accidentally created. Meanwhile, Steffy stood at the center of the storm, her world unraveling faster than she could hold it together. But amid the heartbreak, a quiet strength emerged. She refused to let the mistakes of one night define her. She made a choice, to keep the baby, to raise it with love, regardless of what the future held. Whether Finn came back or not, whether Liam wanted to co-parent or fade away again, she would stand tall. For her children. For herself. Of course, this is the bold and the beautiful, and the twists never end there. Ridge Forrester, upon learning the truth, found himself torn between supporting his daughter and confronting Liam. Brooke Logan, naturally, took Liam's side, arguing that love doesn't follow rules and that Steffy had simply followed her heart. Hope, caught between fury and understanding, wrestled with her own unresolved feelings for Liam. The soap's iconic matriarchs and patriarchs took sides, the family dinner table became a battlefield, and alliances shifted like quicksand. As months passed, the baby grew, and so did the drama. Was this child a symbol of new beginnings or the embodiment of heartbreak? Could Steffy and Finn reconcile? Would Liam step up and embrace fatherhood once again, this time from a place of redemption rather than regret? Eventually, Liam came to terms with his role in the tangled web. He hadn't intended to hurt anyone either. He had just wanted one last chance to say goodbye. But life had other plans, and perhaps this baby, this unexpected miracle, was a part of him. Finn, too, underwent his own transformation. After months of soul-searching, therapy, and a deepening bond with Kelly, he realized that love isn't about perfection, it's about forgiveness. In a sweeping romantic gesture, he surprised Steffy at her maternity checkup, took her hand in his, and whispered, "We'll figure this out together." Steffy gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, the spitting image of Liam, with Steffy's eyes and that unmistakable Spencer spirit. They named him Gabriel, for the angel Liam had once seemed on his deathbed. The three parents, Steffy, Liam, and Finn, entered a new chapter of co-parenting, not without tension, but grounded in love. The road ahead remained rocky, as it always is in Los Angeles, but one thing was certain: life had given Liam a second chance, and with it came a new life, a new beginning, and a new kind of family. And in true soap opera fashion, just as peace began to settle in, a mysterious envelope arrived at Steffy's doorstep, containing DNA results that could shake the foundation of everything once again. Steffy dumps Finn in favor of hero Liam. Luna Nozawa will once again target Steffy Forrester. However, Dr. Finn will not be her knight in shining armor this time around. Will Liam Spencer risk everything to save his ex-wife and prove his undying love for her? Keep reading to find out what's next for Bold and Beautiful. Finn isn't coming to the rescue this time. According to BNB teasers, Luna Nozawa will confront her stepmother at her home, where she had just checked on Liam. Liam is in terrible form right now and on his deathbed, but his adrenaline may kick in if he learns Steffy Forrester is in jeopardy and her life is on the line. Luna is out for blood on the Bold and the Beautiful, and she means it. Finn interfered the last time, but will he rush to take out his own daughter as he did when he thought they were just cousins? Furthermore, Finn has no idea how deadly Luna is and, like everyone else, underestimates the cold-blooded killer. Steffy's spouse has no notion that she is in jeopardy. According to rumors, Liam may save Queen Steffy in the nick of time, but he may also sustain catastrophic injuries in the process. Finn's birth mother and secret daughter have put a lot of strain on the Shin marriage. Luna attacks Steffy again. If Luna attempts to kill Steffy again, it would most likely be the last straw, and she will serve Finn with divorce papers. Liam has resisted treatment for his tumor because he wants to escape the anguish he's seen his mother go through during chemotherapy. However, if he believes he will be able to see Steffy again, he will most likely reconsider fighting the dreadful illness. Do you think Steffy will divorce Finn after Luna's recent attack? Steffy dumps Finn for hero Liam. In a move that sent shockwaves through the Forrester estate and the Spencer empire, Steffy Forrester finally reached her breaking point and did the unthinkable. She ended her marriage to Dr. John Finn Finnegan and reignited the flame with her one true love, Liam Spencer. The decision didn't come lightly, but with Luna Nozawa's unhinged vendetta escalating into another life-threatening attack, Steffy realized something chilling. Her husband, the man she trusted with her life, her heart, and the safety of their children, was no longer the man who stood by her side, sword drawn, ready to slay the dragon. No, that role, once vacated by indecision and emotional distance, was seized by Liam, her ex-husband, the father of her daughter, and the man who risked his life, health, and future to protect her when Finn failed to answer the call. It all started when Luna, plagued by delusions, jealousy, and a twisted sense of justice, decided to take matters into her own hands. Her obsession with Steffy, fueled by childhood trauma, unresolved abandonment, and a growing resentment over her place in the Forrester family, reached a boiling point. She stalked Steffy to the Malibu cliff house, where Steffy was tending to Liam. The once vibrant Spencer heir now lay pale and weak on the couch, refusing treatment for a rapidly growing tumor, his spirit dimming under the weight of memories, regret, and the ghost of a love he never truly let go. Steffy had come only to check in, out of concern, perhaps guilt, but also love, the kind that never truly dies, not when hearts beat in sync even across oceans of betrayal. But Luna didn't seek compassion, she saw competition. She saw Steffy as the reason her family was shattered, her lineage questioned, her father conflicted. And Luna wanted blood. She burst into the house like a hurricane, eyes glazed, trembling hands clenched around the same designer letter opener she had once used as a threat in the Forrester office. It glinted under the moonlight as she lunged forward. Steffy barely had time to react, a cry catching in her throat. She stumbled backward, shielding Liam with her body. The glint turned into a blur, the blur into chaos, and then came Liam. He had been slipping in and out of consciousness, but when Luna screamed something about being denied love and recognition, the haze lifted. In that second, he saw Steffy in danger, and all his instincts surged back: father, protector, lover. With the last ounce of strength he had, Liam hurled himself into the fray, tackling Luna mid-lunge and sending all three sprawling to the floor. Blood. Screams. Silence. When the dust settled, Luna was unconscious, restrained by her own broken rage. Liam's side was punctured, shallow but painful, a red blossom spreading beneath his white t-shirt. Steffy, trembling, checked for a pulse on both. She called 911 with shaking fingers, voice hoarse from shouting. But what shook her more than the attack itself was Finn's absence. She called him 10 times. No answer. He was in surgery. He was unreachable. And even if he had been reachable, would he have believed her? Or would he have dismissed it as another exaggeration, another episode? Because this wasn't the first time Luna had attacked. The last incident had been brushed off. Luna claimed she had a breakdown, and Finn asked Steffy to try to understand. But this time it was attempted murder. Again. And Liam was the only one who bled for her. As emergency responders whisked Luna to a psychiatric facility and Liam to the hospital, Steffy sat alone on the front porch, arms wrapped around herself, eyes staring out into the dark ocean. That's where Finn found her hours later. Disheveled, exhausted, and, perhaps worst of all, indifferent. He apologized. Claimed he had been called into emergency surgery, that he hadn't seen the calls until it was too late. But Steffy didn't want apologies anymore. She wanted a husband who showed up. Who believed her. Who fought for her. And standing there, with the wind whipping through her hair and the sound of sirens fading in the distance, she made a decision that had been quietly forming in her soul for months. I can't do this anymore, Finn, she said, voice barely a whisper. You chose your family. I needed you to choose me. Finn's face contorted in disbelief. Steffy, please. I didn't know. That's the problem, she cut in sharply. You never know. You never see what's right in front of you. Luna is dangerous, and I begged you to see it. And now Liam. Liam's lying in a hospital bed because he had to protect me when my own husband didn't. Her words stung, but they weren't meant to wound. They were truth, raw and necessary. Finn tried to argue, to explain, but Steffy had already turned away, already retreating into the house, into the new world she was building for herself and her children, a world where love meant protection, not just promises. The divorce papers came 2 weeks later. Meanwhile, Liam, ever the martyr, tried to push Steffy away as he recovered. You don't owe me anything, he said through cracked lips, struggling to sit up. I'm glad you're safe. That's all I ever wanted. But Steffy saw through the bravado. She saw the pain etched in his face, not just physical pain, but the ache of years spent chasing her, losing her, wanting her. And she realized something that shook her to her core: Liam had always been there. Even when he didn't deserve her, he showed up. Even when he was broken, he fought for her. And even when death loomed, he protected her with his body, his life. She kissed him softly, brushing her lips against his forehead. You saved me, she whispered. You always save me. The weeks that followed were like a dream. Steffy and Liam spent quiet moments together, walking on the beach, reading to Kelly, holding hands in silence. The chemistry that once sizzled was now slow-burning and steady, a love not born of chaos but endurance. Liam, inspired by the chance of rekindled love, agreed to begin treatment. He wanted to live, for her. For their daughter. For the future they once dared to imagine. Of course, not everyone was thrilled. Hope Logan watched from afar, devastated. Thomas Forrester lashed out in fury, unable to believe his sister would turn her back on Finn. Ridge, torn between his daughter and his hospital hero son-in-law, struggled to remain neutral. But Taylor, always the realist, simply hugged her daughter and said, "I'm proud of you for choosing yourself." And as Luna faced criminal charges and psychological evaluation, and Finn attempted to pick up the pieces of a shattered marriage, Steffy and Liam found solace in each other. They weren't perfect. They never had been. But perhaps that was the magic. They had been through the fire, and still they chose each other. Steffy, the fierce queen of Forrester creations, had finally chosen the man who fought beside her, not just for her. And Liam, the tormented soul with a heart too big for his chest, finally found peace in the arms of the woman he never stopped loving. Together, they faced the storm. Together, they walked into a new chapter, scarred, yes, but unbroken.